Chosen ones, when you stop responding, you're not just protecting your peace. You're flipping the script. Your silence leaves your enemies shaken and scrambling, exposing their weakness while amplifying your quiet strength. It's not retreat, it's revelation. They wanted chaos, but you gave them calm. They sought control, but your silence made it clear who holds the real power. Silence terrifies them because it's a language they cannot manipulate, a stance they cannot predict. Chosen ones, you aren't just quiet, you're deliberate. And that, my friends, changes everything. Silence, chosen ones, is not emptiness, it's clarity. When you choose silence, you create a mirror, one that forces others to see themselves in its reflection. Your stillness strips away the noise, leaving them to confront their true motives, their insecurities, and their shadows. In your silence, there is no room for them to manipulate or distort. It becomes a stage where their intentions play out for all to see. Imagine this: someone hurls accusations hoping to drag you into a spiral of conflict, but instead of responding, you stay quiet. That silence, chosen ones, becomes their undoing. Suddenly they hear their own words echoed back at them, their flaws magnified in the absence of your retaliation. What they thought was strength is exposed as desperation. In the story of To Kill a Mockingbird, Atticus Finch stands as a beacon of this truth. He doesn't raise his voice to counter the venom directed at him. Instead, he uses silence to reveal the darkness within his opponents. Their cruelty becomes glaring, not because of what he says, but because of what he doesn't. His silence speaks volumes, shining a light on the lies and hatred in their hearts. Your silence, too, is a force of illumination. It compels those around you to pause, to think, to feel the weight of their own actions. Without your reaction to justify their behavior, they are left with their own discomfort. They may try to blame you, but without your voice to twist, the blame circles back to them. It's not just a mirror, it's a trap they set for themselves. Cicero understood this power when he said, "Silence is one of the great arts of conversation." Your silence, chosen ones, is not the absence of a response. It's the most profound answer you can give. It holds a strength that words often lack, a strength that cannot be misinterpreted, diluted, or dismissed. The absence of your response creates tension, a kind of charged energy that lingers in the air. People who thrive on chaos and conflict expect retaliation, but when it doesn't come, they begin to overthink. They imagine conversations that never happened, assign meanings that don't exist, and spiral into anxiety. Your silence becomes their downfall, exposing how much they rely on your reaction to validate their actions. Think about a time when someone attacked you, expecting an outburst, and instead you gave them nothing. Remember the shift in their demeanor, the unease, the frustration. Their aggression backfired, leaving them to grapple with their own behavior. Silence, chosen ones, is not passive. It's a deliberate act of control. It turns the tables, making them question themselves instead of you. Words can dilute a stance, opening the door to misinterpretation or manipulation. Silence, on the other hand, is unshakable. It doesn't waver or bend to external forces. It stands firm, signaling that you are above the chaos and immune to provocation. In your silence, you reveal the depth of your confidence. You don't need to explain yourself, because your presence alone says enough. Consider the Sphinx, an ancient symbol of wisdom and power. Its silence was its riddle, a test for those who dared to approach. To speak frivolously was to fail, but to think deeply was to rise. Chosen ones, your silence is the same. It forces others to pause, to reflect, to consider their own actions. It's not an absence of response. It's an invitation to think. In moments of confrontation, your silence says, "I am unbothered." It's a quiet defiance that disarms those who seek to control you. When they can't provoke you, they lose their grip. Your silence becomes a fortress, impenetrable and unyielding. While others exhaust themselves in conflict, you remain steady, unshaken by the storm around you. Silence is a statement of self-respect. It says you value your peace too much to waste it on meaningless battles. It's a declaration that your energy is sacred and will not be spent on those who seek to drain it. Chosen ones, in a world that demands a reaction, your refusal to engage is the ultimate act of empowerment. There is an elegance in silence that words cannot match. It's a strength that doesn't need to prove itself because it already knows its worth. The greatest leaders, the most powerful souls, understand this truth. They don't shout to command respect. They let their actions and their silence do the talking. Your silence, chosen ones, also speaks to your restraint. It shows that you are guided not by impulse but by wisdom. Restraint is a rare strength, one that few possess. When you remain silent, you signal that you are operating from a higher plane, one where petty disputes hold no sway. Silence is not just a shield, but a weapon of discernment. It allows you to observe without interference, to understand the motivations of others while remaining untouched by their chaos. In this stillness, you gain clarity, seeing the situation for what it truly is, not clouded by reaction. This clarity is your advantage, a calm strength that few can rival. In a world addicted to noise, silence stands out. It becomes a beacon, drawing attention not through volume but through presence. People notice when you don't react. They feel the weight of your silence, its depth, its meaning. And in that silence they see the strength that words cannot capture. Silence, chosen ones, is not just the absence of noise, it's the presence of faith. It creates a sacred space for divine action to unfold. When you choose silence, you signal trust in the forces beyond your control, knowing that justice will be served without your interference. It's a powerful declaration. I don't need to fight this battle. The divine will fight it for me. In the story of David and Saul, David had every opportunity to retaliate against Saul's pursuit. But instead of striking back, he chose silence and restraint. He left the matter in God's hands, trusting that divine justice would prevail, and it did. His silence was not weakness, it was profound strength rooted in faith. Chosen ones, your silence carries the same power. It invites higher forces to work on your behalf. Proverbs 17:28 reminds us, even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. Silence isn't just wisdom, it's protection. It shields you from unnecessary conflict while allowing karma, the universe, or God to set the scales right. When you step back and say nothing, you are stepping into alignment with a higher plan, one that unfolds in perfect timing. Silence also sends a message to the aggressor. Your words are not needed for their correction. By refusing to engage, you allow the weight of their actions to settle fully on their conscience. You're not carrying their burdens, not fighting their battles. Instead, you trust the unseen forces to guide the outcome, and in doing so, you rise above the fray. Your silence can also open doors for miracles. In the stillness, solutions often arise that you couldn't have imagined if you were busy arguing or retaliating. Divine wisdom flows more freely in moments of quiet, offering clarity and guidance that words cannot summon. By stepping into silence, you create space for transformation, not just for you, but for everyone involved. This is the paradox of silence. While it seems passive, it is deeply active. It aligns you with the rhythm of the universe, letting unseen forces move in ways you cannot yet perceive. You may not always see the results immediately, but trust that the seeds planted in silence will bear fruit in their season. Chosen ones, silence is also a reflection of your strength in spiritual maturity. It shows that you have risen above the need for revenge or validation. Your silence says, I know my worth. I don't need to prove it to anyone. This level of trust in yourself and the divine is unshakable, and it makes your silence even more powerful. As you hold your peace, your enemies are left to wrestle with their chaos. While they flail, looking for a reaction, you remain untouchable, steady, and in alignment with higher forces. They cannot touch what is divinely protected. Silence, chosen ones, is a weapon your enemies can never anticipate. They thrive on reaction, feeding off the energy of your words and emotions. But when you choose silence, you rob them of their power. You deny them the satisfaction of seeing you flustered or drawn into their chaos. Without your response, they are left with their own thoughts, their own fears, and their own flaws. Your silence forces them to question themselves. Was their attack effective? Did it hit its mark? Or worse, did it reveal more about them than it did about you? The silence you hold mirrors their inadequacies, leaving them unsettled and exposed. They spiral into overthinking, searching for meaning in the void you've left. In their desperation to make sense of your quiet strength, they unravel, and the chaos they intended for you consumes them instead. This dynamic is evident in the lives of public figures like Beyoncé, who handle controversies with strategic silence. When accusations or rumors swirl, she doesn't waste time responding or justifying. Instead, she lets the silence speak. It shifts the narrative, forces people to focus on the accusers, and ultimately strengthens her position. Chosen ones, this is the power of restraint. It forces your enemies to battle themselves while you remain untouchable. Silence denies your enemies a foothold in your mind. It says, I will not waste my energy on you. And in that refusal, you maintain control. The more they push, the more your silence grows, amplifying its weight. It becomes unbearable to them because it exposes their dependence on your reaction. They need you to validate their conflict, and without it, they are left floundering in their own emptiness. This doesn't mean silence is easy. It takes strength to hold your tongue when provoked, to resist the urge to defend or retaliate. But, chosen ones, remember that your silence is not weakness. It is mastery. You are choosing to rise above, to prioritize your peace over their drama. And in doing so, you show them that their words, their schemes, hold no power over you. Your silence also shifts the dynamic entirely. Instead of you responding to their attacks, they are left to react to your stillness. They're left confused, agitated, and unsure of their next move. While they flail in uncertainty, you remain poised, steady, and in control. It is in this control that your true power lies. There's a ripple effect to your silence as well. Others begin to see your strength, your discipline, and your grace. They see that you are not someone who can be easily provoked or manipulated. Your silence becomes a testament to your character, a reflection of your inner strength. And in a world that often rewards noise, your quiet resilience stands out. Even in personal confrontations, silence speaks volumes. When someone lashes out at you and you respond with calmness, they are forced to confront their own behavior. Your lack of reaction becomes a mirror, showing them the futility of their aggression. It leaves them questioning their motives and, more often than not, retreating into their own discomfort. Silence, chosen ones, is not just a practice. It's a discipline, a skill that grows stronger with wisdom and experience. Knowing when to speak and when to remain silent is the mark of true spiritual maturity. It requires discernment, a keen awareness of what deserves your energy and what does not. Every time you choose silence, you are making a conscious decision to protect your peace and elevate your purpose. Reflect before you respond. Ask yourself, will my words bring clarity or feed the chaos? Not every situation deserves your voice. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Silence isn't passive, it's purposeful. It gives you the space to observe, to reflect, and to decide your next move from a place of strength, not impulse. Silence also teaches patience. It's a reminder that you don't have to rush to react, that not everything demands an immediate answer. In the quiet, you give yourself the gift of time to think, to feel, and to align with your highest self. This patience is a rare strength, one that keeps you grounded while others lose their balance. But silence doesn't mean isolation. It's not about withdrawing from the world, but about choosing your battles wisely. Speak when it matters, when your words will uplift, clarify, or bring truth to light. And when they won't, trust your silence to carry the message instead. This balance between silence and speech is the key to mastering your energy and your influence. Remember, chosen ones, silence is not the absence of power, it's the cultivation of it. When you hold your peace, you conserve your strength. You redirect your energy from conflict toward creation, from noise toward purpose. Your silence becomes a wellspring, fueling your growth and your mission in ways that words never could. The greatest sages and leaders throughout history have understood this. They spoke when necessary and withheld when silence was more powerful. Their words carried weight because they didn't speak lightly. You too have this ability. Your silence can be your voice, speaking of your wisdom, your confidence, and your unwavering faith in divine timing. Let your silence be a teacher. In those moments of quiet, you'll discover insights and truths that might have been drowned out by the noise. You'll see what truly matters, what deserves your attention, and what can be released. Your silence, chosen ones, is a tool for clarity, a pathway to understanding yourself and the world around you. But above all, silence is a boundary. It's a way of saying, I will not allow this to disturb my peace. It protects your sacred space, allowing you to remain centered and aligned with your purpose. This boundary isn't just for others. It's, for you, a reminder that your energy is precious and not to be squandered on trivialities. So, chosen ones, embrace silence as both your shield and your sword. Use it to protect your peace, to disrupt negativity, and to guide your path forward. Speak only when your words will build, heal, or inspire. And when silence is the stronger choice, let it speak for you with all the power, wisdom, and grace that resides within you. Hello, chosen one. Look at your life, now look at ours. Back at your life, now back at ours. Sadly, you're not in the obsidian inner order, but you could be. Picture this. Weekly group calls with 450 plus chosen ones, recorded and available anytime for your enlightenment. Our private Discord? It's not just active, it's alive, buzzing with ideas, breakthroughs, and that unstoppable chosen energy. Oh, and for you romantics out there, welcome to Chosen Singles, where soulmates meet under cosmic alignments, not cheap pickup lines. And if that's not enough, Star Chamber members unlock exclusive interviews with bona fide targeted individuals who've faced the darkest trials and survived to tell the tale. Plus, our video specials, too bold, too raw, too spicy for YouTube. This isn't just a community, it's a revolution of soul and spirit. Look at your DMs. Now back at me. The link to join? It's in the description. Don't just swipe right. On Destiny, claim it. The Obsidian Inner Order. Smell like ascension, feel like magic, live like a chosen one. Chosen ones, silence isn't weakness, and it's far from passive. It's an intentional act of power, a deliberate choice that carries more weight than any spoken word. In your silence, you communicate strength, wisdom, and confidence in divine timing. You show the world that you are above the chaos, unmoved by trivial conflicts and aligned with a higher purpose. Your silence is your shield, guarding your peace from the noise of the world. But it's also a sword, cutting through illusion and exposing truth without a single word. It protects you while disarming those who seek to harm you, leaving them confused, exposed, and powerless. Silence becomes your greatest ally, working for you even when you do nothing. Remember, silence is not surrender, it's strategy. It's trusting that not every battle requires your involvement. It's letting divine justice unfold in its own time and trusting that the universe is working on your behalf. When you step back into stillness, you make room for miracles to happen, for balance to be restored, and for the truth to rise to the surface. Silence doesn't just protect, it elevates. It lifts you above petty disputes, allowing you to focus on what truly matters, your purpose, your growth, and your connection to the divine. While others are caught in the noise, your quiet strength makes you untouchable, a force of nature that cannot be swayed or subdued. Chosen ones, never underestimate the power of your silence. It speaks of your resilience, your discernment, and your alignment with something greater than yourself. It shows the world that you are not easily provoked, that your peace is too sacred to be sacrificed, and that your strength lies in your restraint. As you navigate life's challenges, let silence guide you. Let it show you when to speak and when to hold your tongue, when to act and when to let the divine act on your behalf. Trust that your silence is a tool of transformation, both for yourself and for those around you. Embrace your silence, chosen ones. Let it be your sanctuary, your power and your peace. And as you walk this path, know that your silence carries a message of strength, wisdom, and unwavering faith in the process. Now is the time to wield that silence, not just for yourself, but for the world around you. Protect your peace, amplify your purpose, and let your silence inspire others to find their own strength. Chosen ones, your silence is your power. Use it wisely and watch how the world shifts in your favor.